Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I'm excited to share a little bit of a different build. This is actually a community lot that came with the Sims 4 Get Together expansion pack. This is Von Haunt Estate, located on the Chalet Gardens lot type. Basically, it's an old estate, an old manor that you can visit in gameplay that shares the history of this actual estate. And it's got beautiful gardens out back. There's a wedding arch, and it's basically an old home turned into a museum that has a little bit of a tragic history of a fire that took the lives of the Sims living here, and they might still reside here as ghosts. So it's a haunted home as well. And I've always just thought the lot that was originally here was not a very good looking build, so I thought it would be a fun thing to try to recreate or reimagine and make it a little bit more of a fun space to visit. So that's what we are doing here today. And as we go along, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Von Haunt Estate if you've never been to this lot, if you haven't looked into it, or if you don't have Get Together, because there's actually a lot of lore, a lot of story that is tied to this lot and this world. So inside the build, there are a lot of plaques that will tell you about the history of this building, the people that lived here, what went down, all of that. So I made sure when we get to the inside to place those plaques accordingly all around the build into the different rooms. But I do want to read to you some of the information that was on those plaques so that you can get an idea of what to expect and the vibes I was trying to, portray in this build. So at the entrance, there is a plaque that says, "Welcome to the historic Von Haunt Estate. From the hedge maze to the lovingly restored mansion, there's something for all the family to explore. Please note, management accepts no responsibility for any so-called paranormal encounters you may experience on site." So they're not taking responsibility or fully acknowledging it, but you might see some ghosts here. You might see the previous owners of this estate. At the base of the stairs, there is another plaque that says the Von Haunt Estate was partially destroyed by a fire in 1898. The owners, Lord and Lady Chalet, died together in the blaze. Locals claim the estate is haunted, but management strongly advises you to ignore these wild and unfounded rumors. If you're on the lot for any amount of time, you're gonna see them. Honestly, when I was taking screenshots of this, Lord Chalet was outside and haunting the easel. So if you look really closely in the thumbnail for this build, you might notice that the easel on the balcony is floating because I couldn't get him to go away. He would not leave. So that's kind of fun. Also, one of the biggest things I wanted to make sure to include in here is information that you can learn from the plaque by the dining room, which is the late Lord Chalet was a troubled artist who would often burn his paintings. It said he accidentally started the deadly blaze of 1898 by hurling an oversized watercolor into the fireplace. Some claim they can still smell the smoke from the inferno, but management can assure you that the restoration has completely replaced all materials in this room, and any lingering haunted stench is pure imagination. So not only do I have fireplaces all over this build, there's definitely one in the dining room, but I also kind of created an art studio space for this sim that also has a fireplace in it. I'm excited to share that with you. I just had so much fun really imagining these sims and decorating with more packs than the original build had, and decorating a house and building a house in such a different style than I typically do. This is like a really fancy, traditional looking estate, and I think it came out really cool. Starting to get close to the final exterior shape of this home now, by the way, and I think it looks really nice. It was very symmetrical, so I wanted to kind of off-put that a little bit. So what I did is on one side there's a roof and the other side there's a balcony, which I think worked quite nicely. That balcony ends up being off of the primary and I believe only bedroom in this house, and I think it has a really nice view. I ended up painting this house a brick swatch, and we also have some white paneling on the rest of the house, and I had a lot of fun with the landscaping on this one as well. It's very structured. I tried to kind of mimic the things I was seeing around this lot and in the gardens out back where the hedge maze is, to get some inspiration and make it look pretty cohesive. So you'll see that come together. This is a pretty long build. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you'd like to download this build for yourself and place it in your game, it is available on the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. And that information will also be in the description down below as well. I really like this, like, I don't know what to call it, roof piece that I put in the rounded roof sections on the front and the back of the build. I just think it's like a nice detail. I quite enjoyed that. And then I'm playing around with the different trees I should put out front. I really wanted to use some of these really tall, narrow trees to kind of frame out the space. I also put a lot of shrubs around the area, and I like the rounded like front step I have as well. So you'll see that continue to come together. And I also played around with the fences a lot, and I talked over it because I was discussing a little bit of the information about this lot, but choosing the front door for this build took me so long. I actually built this over on Twitch a week or so ago, and someone in chat had suggested, after a few failed attempts at figuring out a front door, to check out these ones from my wedding stories, and they ended up being perfect for this build, so I was so happy with that. If you don't know, I do stream over on twitch.tv/Gryphi 5 days a week, and a lot of my builds that I post here on YouTube, I originally built there, and then I edit down into a speed build and do a voiceover and all of that. So if you'd like to be part of the process in the future, I would love to have you join us. It's so much fun to chit chat and build in the Sims together. Also, this backyard part, I know all of a sudden it popped into existence. I forgot to press record while I was decorating it. But it's pretty simple. I didn't do too much. There's just like a low laying fence and then like a fountain in the middle. The fountain that I placed back there is actually from Romantic Garden stuff. So it's a functional one. Your Sims can like splash around in it and I believe throw coins in it to make wishes, which is kind of cool. I almost never use that item because I don't do that many community lots, but I feel like I've been doing more lately, and I've also been doing some more bigger builds. So definitely let me know what sort of community lots you would like to see coming up, because I'd be so down to do some more. I've just been really enjoying doing some different stuff on the channel lately, so always keep those suggestions coming if there's anything you would like to see. But anyway, now we are inside and we are working on the floor plan. It's pretty simple, to be honest. Upstairs you have a like bedroom, a secondary living space, and a bathroom, and then there's a staircase to the attic, which I added some fun items in. I had a lot of fun decorating the attic. The original build has an attic that you can't access, and it has just like some boxes in the corner, but I decided to go all out and decorate the attic. I don't have it so your Sims can access it, but if you decide to like remove a fence so that they can get by, there are some fun activities up there. So that could be a fun thing to do if your Sims do explore this home, this estate, this manor. I used a lot of this like rope fence around. This was used in the original build, and it really gives off that vibe of this being a, you know, a museum now, even though it used to be a home. And I've been to some things like this before, like a long time ago. I haven't been to one in a really long time, but like older places like this where they have everything preserved and they want to show you like this old home or old mansion, and I just think it's kind of cool. So this was definitely a little bit of a different build for me to do, but it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I ended up doing it. So I'm just kind of laying out where I want to have doors and stuff so I can figure out where I want to put the rope so that I can decorate accordingly. And sometimes that rope made it so like parts of the roof were missing, and it was a whole ordeal. It took me a while to figure out, but we got there in the end. I did want to block the staircase to the attic like I had mentioned, so that's how we did that. And then this room originally in the like original build was like the living room upstairs. But since I had so much extra space downstairs, I had a living room down here as well. So basically there's 2 living rooms in this house. You could probably turn the upstairs one into a second bedroom if you prefer. If you want to add your own storyline to this family and to this estate, that could be kind of fun. But I was kind of imagining that maybe the one upstairs was for different types of parties. Like there's a like buffet table in the one upstairs and a bigger bar. The one downstairs, I end up having the globe bar. Oh, by the way, these portraits here, those are the Lady and Lord Chalet. So I put those in the dining space. And then we're moving on into the kitchen. It was just really difficult because I wanted this to look like an older home that didn't have a lot of our like modern day technologies in it. So also feeling a little bit limited on which items would make sense for the time period was quite interesting. Not everything is going to be 100% accurate, but I just wanted it to give off the right vibes, and it was definitely a challenge. Also, this kitchen has so many windows in it, so decorating it was a little bit difficult, but we got there in the end, and I really like how it comes out. I kind of took some inspiration from the original kitchen where there was a table in the middle of the room to act as like an island space, and also there was like pots and pans hanging over that island. And honestly, if you're building and you go into the catalog that says items specifically for this lot, those things pop up. So it suggests that you add them anyway. That where I placed down that easel is going to be the room that I was thinking the fire might have started in, even though it said it was in the dining room. I don't know. I liked the idea of this room, and I had so much fun decorating it using a lot of stuff from the Book Nook kit. It's kind of like an office/art studio, and it's a really cool one. It's probably my favorite room in the entire house. But anyway, we'll get to that in a little while. I put a typewriter in here. I thought that was fun. And I just spent a long time decorating it, and I ended up putting a lot of different rugs in different rooms. That was another thing I struggled with, was figuring out which rugs to use. And I do come back to this room because later on I realized we have so many items that would be perfect for this office that came with werewolves. There is a wax stamp piece for sealing letters and a few other items. There's just some really good stuff from werewolves that I thought were perfect for this room. So we will be going to, I think, the kitchen and the dining room first, and then coming back to this room. I kind of pop all over the house as I get inspiration. Yeah, we're back in the kitchen now, and I am adding those pots and pans I had mentioned. I'm also getting a bust of Princess Cordelia and just getting some more decorations. These are those plaques that I had mentioned earlier on that have information. So I just wanted them to be leading into the different rooms. So since your Sims can't fully go in here and use the appliances, they can just kind of go look. I thought having the plaques right where that line was made the most sense. But anyway, let me read you a little bit more about the different plaques and stuff that it says. So I know we're not at the bedroom yet, but the plaque for the bedroom says, "Please note that the bedrooms are no longer available for overnight stays. Since the regrettable honeymoon of horror incident, our insurance firm has instructed us that no living person should sleep in Von Hunt Estate." Near the easel, which I believe is out back, there's an easel in the very back of the hedge maze. The maze overlook was designed so servants could see and shout directions to lost guests. Once this became Lord Bernard's favorite painting spot, maze attendance dropped dramatically. At the maze entrance, there's another sign that says, "The historic Von Hunt hedge maze lies ahead." Designed by Lord Bernard and grown by Lady Mimsy, the maze is a lasting monument to their enduring love. There are 2 more plaques in the lot, and those are at the chess pavilion and the garden area entrances in the back of the build. Where the off-lot stuff is, where the maze is located. And in the chess pavilion, it says, "The chess pavilion is a popular place for wedding receptions and club gatherings." And the garden area entrance says, "Local legend holds that Lady Mimsy Chalet still tends to her prize garden, noted for its luscious lemons." So there's some lemons there. And actually, I'm on the Sims Wiki right now, and it says that Bernard married Mimsy because he was painting not so good paintings and needed money. It started off as a loveless marriage, but eventually grew into a passionate love affair. I love that for them. I think that this is such a fun build and a cool storyline to work with. It's something a little bit different than my everyday house build. So I had a lot of fun decorating this space. I will make sure to link the Sims wiki page down below that has all the information on this estate. And if you haven't visited already and you have get together, I would highly advise you take a trip over to Von Hunt Estate. It's just a community lot in the back, I believe, left-hand corner of the map of Windenburg. And it's a cool little place to visit. Plus, the mazes out back are fun, and it would be a cool spot for a little wedding. It's pretty picturesque. So if it's not something you've done before, maybe this will inspire you to do so. We are well into this painting studio office space now, and there's just so much clutter to put in here. I wanted to hang up these pieces of artwork on the bookcases. I'm using lots of these stacks of books from the Book Nook kit. We have like a board of chess up there, and it's just supposed to look messy and full of all sorts of things that the Sim was working on during his time living here. And I just liked the nod of all of the paintings in this space, and I guess a little bit of a nod to their tragic ending and his interest in art. Maybe they weren't considered good paintings while he was around, but now they are. I feel like that's a pretty common thing you hear about painters, and that's just kind of how it works. Unfortunately, I wish that some of these people in real life and in The Sims, I suppose, could have been recognized for their work while they were still around. But anyway, this is the downstairs living room. I have the same couches in both of them. I also used this one painting from Get Together on the fireplace in all of the rooms. I placed it with tulle, so that way it's there. And I also really liked using this like book piece. It's from the writing career. I think it's an unlock from the writing career, to look like a book on the piano for you to like read notes off of. And there's also a chess table in there. There ends up being a few of them throughout this entire build. And I have an archway into the back hallway. There's another chess table. And when you first walk in the front door, I wanted to have like a round table with flowers on it. I feel like that's just a staple of a big house like this. I just put plaques around so that it looks like there's more information everywhere, as well as a place to hang up a coat, some extra artwork around. Like I said, it was a little bit difficult to pick things that felt like they were period appropriate and fit the style of this home. So not everything's perfect. I also added like these bathroom decals to show that if you go in here, this is where the bathrooms are. There ends up being 3 stalls in here, which I was actually really proud of because it's a really small space. So you'll see me figuring that out right now. There's 2 that are one direction and the other one is taking up these 2 tiles right here. So I just have to move things around a little bit. But I thought having a regular brown door on the outside that looks like all of the rest of the doors in the house, but just had the decals above it, was the best way to be like, oh, this is where the bathroom is. And I was thinking that this bathroom used to be like a regular bathroom in the house. They renovated it to be for the museum, whereas the one upstairs is still maintained in its original state and you're not allowed to access it. But anyway, we are in the attic now. I decided, since I wasn't sure how I wanted to decorate the top floor yet, I thought we'd go to the attic first. And I just start placing so many different items up here, and I just thought it was a lot of fun. Maybe a foosball table's not the most realistic, but maybe museum staff come up here and like to play with that. There's a lot of storytelling you could use with this, but I do put a lot of like old furniture and boxes and crates and old books and all sorts of stuff you might expect to find in the attic of a old estate like this. But I do think some of these things were added after the fact. One of those things, which I'll be adding at the end and I think is so fun, is I added a seance table because, this house is haunted. There's some ghosts here. And when this pack originally came out, we didn't have the paranormal stuff pack. This pack came out in like 2016, I want to say. So it was a really long time ago. And since it's a haunted lot, it doesn't have the haunted lot trait or anything like that because it's not a house lot. So I couldn't set it as a haunted house. But I thought having the seance table here was kind of a fun idea to try and communicate with the spirits when they're not already spawned on the lot. I also added like this replica of Brindleton Bay up here. I just think it's a fun item, and I think of that in like haunted attics. It makes me think of Beetlejuice every time I see that item that has like the miniature town. So yeah, I also got a bunch of cobwebs up here. There's a typewriter in a glass case, cracks and stains and tears. And this is where I'm adding the seance table. At first, I didn't realize I grabbed the regular table, so I have to get the seance one. It has this like design on the top, and I added a crystal ball as well. It's just kind of messy and has a lot of stuff up there, but I really like how it came out. I think that's a fun storytelling piece to add up there. And then this is the upstairs bathroom that guests cannot go into. I just wanted it to look nice. So I end up using a lot of stuff from Get Together, the sinks and the mirrors. This towel in the corner is actually from Get Famous. I thought it was really nice. And then, just getting a toilet and some other decorations in here. There's a little dresser that has like towels and stuff on it. And I believe we get a plant as well, or like I got like little bottles of something. I don't know, just simple decorations in here. It's a really spacious bathroom, and it's currently set up as like the ensuite to this bedroom, which I know isn't like the most realistic. It's just kind of how the floor plan worked out in this house. So You could probably rearrange things and make it so the door is in the hallway, but then you'd also have to block off that one with the fencing. It's a whole ordeal, but this is the bedroom, and I think it came together pretty quickly. I used a lot of base game stuff in here, like the bed, and I believe the bedside tables and the dresser and stuff are all from base game. I also added some more paintings up here. I just really wanted to have lots of nods to the sim who paints here, and they're all kind of suspiciously placed near the fireplace. I wasn't even thinking that when I placed them. I just thought that that would be a nice ledge to put them on, but that's kind of tragic. Anyway, in this other living room I have over here, in the original one there was a grand piano, so I wanted to include that in this space, and we just get a nice rug in here. I ended up using this one that came with the most recent Growing Together, which sounds so much similar, like very similar to Get Together. I hope I haven't been saying Growing Together this entire build, because this lot is from Get Together, not Growing Together. It's kind of confusing. We have so many packs now, and a lot of them have very similar names. But I added a bar in here, as well as this like banquet table, so they could probably like throw parties in here and have somebody playing piano. And yeah, I just think it's really nice and cutely decorated. I like the mirror that I put on the fireplace. I have that mirror a couple other places in the house, but something about placing it on the fireplace I just thought looked really nice. I also put a tea set here. I didn't put the functional one. I thought about it at first, but I liked this older style one a little bit better. I also just have some chairs over in the corner. I just wanted it to look like it wasn't perfectly put together. And then I also put a couple more of these portraits of the Sims that used to live here. I thought that that made a lot of sense. And then this is the balcony that is off of their bedroom. So I added some planters out here and another easel for our lovely Lord Chalet, or Bernard, I believe his name is. And there's a little bench out here as well that I placed all around this lot. There's some upstairs on this area as well. This is a place that your Sims can access if they want to come hang out up here. It just has like a rug and a couple of these, or 3 of these seats. I kept it pretty simple. I didn't think it needed a bunch of activities and accessories and stuff. That's not really what this lot is for. It's supposed to be like showing the history of the space and being like a beautiful nature lookout because of these wonderful gardens that Mimsy had taken care of. So I didn't add too many activities, but I still think it's kind of a fun place to explore. And like I said, if you decide to let your Sims access the attic, I think that could be a lot of fun with the seance table and the foosball table. Those could be a lot of fun. But I'm just adding like a little fence out front, kind of mimicking the ones that you see in the background of this area. This is using a fence from Live It Objects. So it's free and your Sims will probably walk through it, but I thought it looked nice for decoration. And I also got some like grass and stuff around, just really finishing up the landscaping at the end of this build, making sure all the finishing touches are there. Added another tree over here. Anything that just looked like there was something missing in that spot, I tried to add something. I also added more of these little balcony pieces on the outside of the windows. I thought that that looked really nice here and really just made the space look a little bit more finished. So that is what we're doing here, and then adding some ivy to the outside of the build, and then we should be heading on into screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed this build. I had a lot of fun with it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so very much for watching. Please let me know what you thought of this, what other community lots you'd like to see, and I think that's all I have for you. So thank you so very much for watching. Enjoy those screenshots, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.